Hey, this week we're going to look at a DIY kit from microphoneparts.com, the T-25 medium diaphragm condenser microphone. What is a medium diaphragm mic? Well, it's not something that you normally hear about. It's not a large diaphragm and it's not a small diaphragm. It's somewhere in the middle and comes in around 21 millimeters. As its name implies, the performance is also somewhere in the middle of the two as well. The capsule in question here is a Transsound TSB 2555B and is an electret type, which means that the back plate of the capsule is permanently charged, unlike a regular large diaphragm, which uses phantom power to charge its back plate. Now, that doesn't mean that the mic doesn't need phantom power. It's just that the 48 volts coming in is used to power the fed amp that's in the mic. The build quality of the capsule is excellent and features a very sturdy capsule mount which can be used in modding commercially available mics such as the BM7 and 800, the Apex 435, and the CAD GLX 2400. If you have any of these mics and aren't really wowed by the performance, this might be a relatively inexpensive upgrade option for you. For a circuit, Mic Parts selected a topology that closely resembles that of a Neumann KM84. If you've ever used an original 84, you'll know that they're not the greatest at handling high SPL, and this mic mimics that behavior in a pleasing way. Loud sources such as drums and loud vocals can saturate the mic, which will result in some compression of the signal coming out, and also some pleasing harmonics can be expected from pushing the mic a little bit to its limits as well. The mic was unveiled in early 2020, just as supply chain issues were reaching their peak around the world. We were a very early adopter of the kit and ordered one back in April of 2020. We opted to get the C12 head basket as Matt at Mic Parts claimed that its open design helped to bring out the top end of the normally tame design. I had it in my head I was going to use this as a spot mic on drum set since I didn't really have anything I loved on ride cymbal, and being that this mic could be easily driven, I was looking forward to something that would offer some texture and grit, and it didn't disappoint. I received the kit fairly quickly, impressive considering the state of the world at the time. Within a couple hours, the mic was fully assembled. I mean, there are less than a handful of components to solder on the board. I think it's like 14, and I think there's 9 wires in there. Chris Capaldi did a nice video on his channel of the build, which shows the internals and what it took to put the mic together. And Mic Parts themselves did a pair of live stream videos, which shows most of the mic being soldered together in real time. Which brings me to something kind of important. As an engineer, it's a really useful skill to know how to solder properly. Back in the early days of recording, this was essential as obtaining gear wasn't as simple as calling your Sweetwater rep and having something delivered to your door overnight. Many devices were simply listed in trade magazines as schematics and parts lists, and left the engineer to put the device together from that limited information. There was no YouTube help, there was no internet searches, just a printed magazine page and a trip to the local electronics store. With some skill, you too could have assembled your very own studio compressor or EQ or mic pre. Today, with things being so easily obtained, the skills of the engineer have kind of relegated themselves to pushing buttons and clicking a mouse for the most part. However, for many where budgets are tight, having the know-how to DIY things for the studio can save you loads of money. In the long run, the skills that you develop building various things become even more of a cost savings, as you may be able to perform certain repairs on cables and other gears without having to visit a repair center. I understand it's not for everyone to go that far, but there really is no reason that every engineer shouldn't know how to solder. Making cables alone can save you hundreds of dollars for the most humble setups. For example, a Mogami Gold mic cable with nitric connectors will run about $68 retail for a 10-foot cable. For you to buy the components and build it yourself, it would cost you around $20. That can add up to a lot of money when you're outfitting a small studio. Not only that, but when those store-bought cables fail, and they always fail at the worst time, you can just whip out the soldering iron and some solder and fix the cable in minutes. When we were building our studio, we figured we saved over $2,000 just on our mic cable runs between rooms by building them rather than buying pre-made ones. The savings were even more when we were doing the cable runs to all the gear that you see behind me. The other nice thing is that you can customize the lengths of the cables to exactly what you need, so as long as you're not lazy like some people. Yeah. In this case, for less than the cost of an SM7B, you can put together an amazing sounding mic that'll rival mics that cost 3 or 4 times as much. And you can say that you built it. That's pretty cool. The instruction manual that comes with the mic is an awesome step-by-step guide which shows what parts to put where and full of pictures to guide you on your way from a bag full of parts to a fully working microphone. Let's take a listen to the mic on our player piano and upright bass. I'd put it up in front of the drum kit and some guitars as well, but I think that Ultimate Studios Inc. did a great job showing the mic on drum set already. Be sure to check that video out when you get a chance. So let's get to it. This is a great sounding little mic and can get in some tight spaces and perform really well. The build is not all that complicated, and for someone that puts in a few hours to learn how to solder, it can be a really fast and rewarding project to undertake. My only regret with this mic is I wish I had waited a little longer before picking it up, since towards the end of 2020, Mic Parts upgraded the metalwork for the mic, which I think looks way cooler. What did you think of the tone on this mic? Leave me some comments below. I try to answer every message and comment that the channel gets. If you have some low-end mics that could maybe benefit from some upgrades, microphoneparts.com has a whole array of upgrade kits available to turn your meh mic into a legit studio piece. Please like and subscribe if you got anything from today's video so I can continue to bring you videos every week or so. Well, that's it for this time. This is Pags, signing off.